I would rather fake my own death and be dropped off in the wilds of Borneo naked before I was going to attend a 3-week residential speech therapy program with 35 other stutterers. In 1972, my uncle wanted me to go to the Stuttering Institute's in Virginia summer camp. And I lied to him and said I would think about it. There was no way in hell I was going to go to Virginia. And there's a bunch of reasons why. One, at the time I didn't discuss my stutter. It was too embarrassing. Two, I was considered more of a moderate stutterer at times, a little bit more severe. But I also believe that stuttering, like yawning, is contagious. And I would be with at least 35 other severe stutterers. And nothing good would come out of that. So, and also, there are only 2 stuttering meetup groups in the entire world. So, there's a reason for that. I did have therapy when I was 13. It was a little late at the time, but and I was at Emerson College in Boston. And the therapist said, you know what you need? You need to practice tongue twisters. And in my head, I said, no, I don't. That was her therapy. So it was horribly embarrassing because I couldn't even get through the first syllable. I couldn't do it. I quit after 2 times. And then, and so here I am. I'm 20 years old. I'm a student at CSU. And it was a couple nights after my uncle after I had lied to my uncle. And I was sitting around the house with some friends, everyone smoking weed, getting high. And I uncharacteristically talked about my stutter and told him about my uncle's offer. And Tim, a very nice guy, really, but he was really high. And he says, oh no, Mary, I love when you stutter. It's so cute. Now, I wasn't going to Virginia, but the next morning I got on my bike and I went to the speech pathology lab at CSU, found me a therapist, and I said to her, I need to get rid of this stutter and I will not do a tongue twister. And she agreed. So instead, we wander the campus looking for the best looking guys. And it was my job to go up to them and to say, excuse me, do you know where the biology department is? And then worse, I had to say, excuse me, do you know where the sociology department is? I still can't say it. She had me do a couple of the crazy things. But then she wanted me to speak to a classroom of speech therapy students. And I thought, oh, what could go wrong? I thought a small classroom, but no. It's a large lecture hall. It's like this big, only it goes around. It's like 250 students. There are not 250 speech therapy students at CSU. So I don't know who they were. But I had a podium, I had a mic, but I also had my dog Damien and a pack of Marlboros, because that was a better time. So anyway, I didn't write a speech because I wouldn't be able to say it. So I kind of winged it, but then I froze, and then I panicked. And the professor did notice and told the students to ask me questions. So the first question I got was, do you stutter when you're drunk or high? Now that's a trick question. Because it was 1972. Anyway, it went downhill from there. And it was a disaster. And I swore to myself, I'm never getting on stage ever again. And my therapist left. She graduated, got her master's, and I never had speech therapy again. But you know, stutterers have tools. One of them is you have to have a dog. Now, I had a dog, and then I had a lot of dogs. I never stutter when I talk to a dog. And then you have distraction. You have, like, you fake sneeze, right? Like, ugh. And it takes attention, it takes the focus off of you, or you drop something and you have to move. And I did that a lot, apparently, and you kind of do look drunk or stoned. But it was better than looking at the face of someone while I start to stutter. So many, many years passed. I heard it. I'm not so deaf. Anyway, I did not try out or audition for community theater. I did not craft a TEDx talk. I did turn 60, and I thought to myself, you know what? I am sick of myself. I am sick of being afraid. I am sick of being afraid what people think of what I do, or I can't even go to a networking event. I can't have a social engagement. I'm sick of being afraid of tongue twisters. So storytelling was popular, and I wanted in. I applied to Ignite Fort Collins. I got in. I was going to tell the story of puppy mills and pet stores, and invite the audience or command the audience to never get a dog at a pet store. Am I right? Right. So the time came, and I was ready. I must have practiced 100 times. And then the date was September 13th, 2013. You may know that date. It was my birthday. But it was also the massive flood in northern Colorado. The event was canceled, postponed till October. I thought it was the universe telling me never, ever to get on stage again. So I thought about quitting. No, I got on stage when it came. I told my story. I stuttered a bit. I smiled very little. And as I was walking off that stage, I had this overwhelming feeling that I was walking out of a prison. Now, it was a prison of my own making. So I don't know what freedom means to any of you, but I know damn well what it means to me. Thank you.